Thank you so much for coming to celebrate Montgomery Parks' first dedicated lighted pickleball courts. My name's Mike Riley. I'm the director of the Montgomery County Department of Parks, and I really couldn't be more excited to be here today. You know, there are a lot of trending facilities in park and recreation, whether it's pickleball, dog parks, skate parks, community gardens. There's a lot of things that weren't in our system 10 or 20 years ago that there's a growing demand for. And while we would love to be more proactive and stay ahead of the curve, it's very challenging. But in this case of pickleball, I'm so excited that we're making very significant progress to catch up in a very short period of time. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let me recognize some special guests that are with us today. I want to recognize Casey Anderson, Chair of the Planning Board. And from our County Council, our Parks Lead, Council Member Andrew Friedson. And then proudly representing our District 19 of the General Assembly, we have Senator Ben Kramer, Delegate Vaughn Stewart, and Delegate Charlotte Crutchfield. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're here today, you're a special guest, but just a few more. I do want to recognize my partner in crime, no relation, but the director of the Recreation Department, Robin Riley, runs the fine facility here. And her sidekick, Adrian Clutter, is back there too. Thank you for joining us. And then representing our countywide Recreation Park and Recreation Advisory Board, we have the president, Karen Kinzer. And I do want to thank that board because that's a vehicle where we hear about emerging trends and needs that we need to deliver in the park system. So let me just say a little bit about pickleball and this project. These courts are lighted, as you can see. There's 6 of them. They will be open till 11 p.m. at night, which is obviously helps us meet demand with those extra hours. It's one of the fastest growing sports in Montgomery County and nationally. It's a fun, fast-paced, but low-impact sport and a combination of several classic games, including badminton, tennis, and table tennis. It offers both physical activity and opportunities for social gatherings, and pickleball is considered a very social, community-oriented game. We currently have 40 pickleball courts in the parks, of which 30 have been completed in the last year, and I'm very proud of that. And we're actively working to increase that number following a 2019 study which indicated the need for these facilities in recommended locations around the county, including this one. Converting one tennis court to 2 dedicated pickleball courts and adding our standard pickleball striping to the other tennis courts. So next spring, our contractors are going to be working at Good Hope Local Park and Meadowood Local Park, resurfacing both tennis courts and installing shared pickleball tennis courts. And both locations will also see upgraded lighting. And if you are interested in learning more about the sport, there's many ways to do it, but we have a dedicated page on our website at montgomeryparks.org/pickleball. So let me invite a few of our special guests up to see if they might want to say a few words, and I'll start with Planning Board Chair Casey Anderson.
So I think most people are aware that there's too many children who don't get enough physical activity. Too many kids sitting on the couch playing video games, not getting outside, not getting enough exercise. What I think gets overlooked is that most adults don't get enough physical activity. In fact, 25.4% of adults nationally reported getting zero minutes of leisure time physical activity in 2018, which is the latest data that's available. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem for public health because obesity, diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, these are killing us. They're literally killing us. And it's costing all of us money in the healthcare system. It's degrading our quality of life. And I know my mother, who doesn't get enough physical activity, she's getting to the point right now, she has a very difficult time even getting out of a chair because she was physically inactive for most of her life. So now that she's in her 80s, she has a great deal of difficulty just doing the basic things that people need to do to enjoy a high quality of life as they get older. That's an enormous problem. But it's actually even worse than that, because coming out and getting some exercise isn't just about getting your heart rate up, cardiovascular fitness, maintaining your flexibility, strength. That's important. It's also about social isolation. The fact that especially seniors, the inability to connect with other people, the isolation that comes from being shut in, from not getting out, getting some exercise, getting the kind of social engagement, it's actually having few or no close friends is more threatening to your health in old age than cigarette smoking or obesity. So this is a public health crisis in more than one way, and we want people to have not only a long, healthy life, but a full life, one that they can be participants in their community, and that's a huge part of what parks are all about. It's not just about the kids running around playing soccer or baseball. Yes, that's important. It's also about, as we get older, we need to be physically active, not just so we can be healthy, but so we can be connected. And pickleball, I don't think I need to explain that pickleball is crucial, because as you get a little bit older, you get a little less flexible, you're not as quick on your feet as you once were, you can still play pickleball. This is huge. So a lot of times we talk about the importance of diversity, and it's more important than ever that we provide a diverse range of activities for an increasingly diverse population. Most of the time when people say that, they're talking about race and ethnicity, sometimes gender, sometimes culture, national origin, language, but it's also about age. It's about making sure that people have things that are enjoyable, they like to do, that are healthy, no matter how old. See, that was pretty. I've been doing this for a while. I know how this works. Being able to get out and get something that you enjoy, that's something that's important, that we make sure that every single person in our community has those things available, and that's what this pickleball court is all about. So really appreciate the support of Andrew Friedson, and I kid you not, he has been the best parks lead, the most supportive county council member. Don't tell the other aide I said this, that we've ever worked with. Just fantastic. Takes this role really seriously. When he said, I want to be the parks lead, I was like, okay, maybe he'll come with a couple of ribbon cuttings. This guy has been so supportive of our budget. He really has gotten behind everything that we're trying to do to make a really great park system even better. The District 19 delegation, can't say enough about them. I talked to Von Stewart quite a bit, and the whole delegation really committed to making sure we have a high quality of life in District 19 and throughout the county. Thank you all so much. I want to turn it over to see if Andrew or the members of the D19 delegation would like to say a few words.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I will assure you I will be telling my colleagues everything that you just said and reminding them of that early and often. But I appreciate that. I also have to give a nod to the fact that I think Chair Anderson requested that Director Riley find the lightest possible podium so he could do that no-look grab and look extra good there, which was very impressive. But I'm just so honored to be here and to join in on this really great occasion. It really is an example of how our parks system and our rec department are changing, are adapting to the growing needs and the changing needs of our community. We have to keep up with what the community wants, what the community needs. And what we've seen during the pandemic especially is just how critical our open spaces are, just how critical our active spaces are, our recreational opportunities are. It literally saved lives during the pandemic. The usage of these facilities were up over 40%, whether it was our trails, whether it was our parks, whether it was our outdoor recreational facilities. People desperately needed these opportunities to get out for their own health and wellness, for their own mental health, for their own ability to socialize in safe and healthy ways. And so this is just one example, the latest example, a really exciting example of how the county and the state are partnering together, working with the Parks Department to do this, and partnering closely with the Rec Department as well. It's really great to have state partners who do such a great job in Annapolis. We need resources, we need support, and they are delivering it for us. And I'm just so proud to be able to be the Parks lead, to work together to not just have 37,000 acres of parkland, 423 parks, I think we're up to now. 424. I missed one. You'll have to remind me which one I missed. But 424 parks. But it's what those parks are being used for and how our residents are benefiting from them. And that's really what we're focused on at the county. That's really what Mike and his team are focused on, and the planning board and Chair Anderson are focused on. And I'm just so happy, so pleased to be a part of it. And so I will now turn it over to my state partners. So I'll start with Senator Kramer and his colleagues, and just want to express appreciation of the County Council for all of your support at the state. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon and welcome. So nice to see all of these smiling faces that will be taking advantage of this park. My thanks to Councilmember Friedson for all that he is doing for the people of Montgomery County and to support our park system. Thank you for that. And I suspect that Chair Anderson may have been speaking with my wife when he started describing people who need to be using this facility. He was saying, these folks who are getting a little long in the tooth, they're not flexible anymore. They're not exercising anymore. In fact, I think he had categorized me in that group that's getting zero exercise. So I very much appreciate the fact that we have this new facility, and for making, and I appreciate it, thank you to our friends at Montgomery Parks and the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission for making the Bauer Drive Local Park the epicenter for pickleball in Montgomery County. And being local to the area, I'm looking forward to taking full advantage of it, getting my exercise, enjoying this exciting new sport that is going to lead us into the 21st century, because this is where sports are trending. So thank you again to our Parks Department, and I would welcome my friend and colleague, Delegate Charlotte Crutchfield, to please come up. She too is very local to this community and do an amazing job in our state legislature. So Charlotte, please.
Thank you, thank you. Wow, I just can't even believe that. For me in particular, I learned about pickleball growing up as a teenager in the Northwest. And just to see that it's here is amazing to me. So I do want to just definitely thank the Montgomery Parks and the lead council member on this, and just all, because obviously you all brought this here because of your dedication and wanting to learn more about the sport, wanting to be out here and be healthy. And just, it's amazing that it is right here, and that we here in District 19 are the epicenter for pickleball. So I just think that's exciting, and I want to thank all of you all for being here. And I'd like to bring up Von Stewart, who absolutely says he plays right here on this court. So we'll see.
Thanks, everyone. Pardon me, I have some allergies, so I'm a little bit more nasally than usual, but I couldn't let a mild case of allergies keep me from this really exciting event, because, as legislators, as county council members, as people in elected office, we get invited to these sorts of things a lot. And I have to admit, I normally go for the ribbon cutting, and then unless I get a Facebook reminder of a photo, I kind of forget that the ribbon cutting happened. But in this case, I am so personally invested in this that I couldn't be more thrilled about this project. I started playing pickleball actually in June when I played tennis for 20 years. I hurt my foot. I was looking for something that would be a little bit more low impact, keep me active during the summer months. Started playing pickleball. All my tennis friends, for those of you who don't play either, there's a little bit of a rivalry between tennis and pickleball. All my tennis friends were like, oh, you've landed in the dark side. I said, no, it's just temporary. Once my foot gets feeling better, I'll go back to just playing tennis full time. But no, I am fully recovered, and I have now been playing pickleball much more than tennis. In fact, I recognize a few familiar faces out here that I've been playing with either here or at King Farm out in Rockville. And I know several of you are probably like, I thought that guy was just a thoroughly mediocre pickleball player. I didn't realize he was a state legislator, but it's awesome to see you. So I tip my cap, and I see Willie over there laughing because he had that exact thought. But I just want to give my sincere thank you to the council, to the Parks Department. This is really, really exciting, and it's really awesome. I think Montgomery County for too long was a little bit behind the curve in terms of providing dedicated pickleball facilities as compared to a lot of similar places across the country. This puts us on the map. This makes not only Montgomery County, but very, very excitedly, District 19, the heart of pickleball in Montgomery County. I'm really excited to get out and play more today. I'm really excited about playing more in the future, and I just want to underscore what Casey and a number of my other colleagues mentioned, that this is an accessible sport for people of all ages. Just last weekend, I had both of my parents and my 3-year-old toddler out trying to teach them all how to play pickleball on this back left court right here about 8 days ago, 2 Sundays ago. And they were all loving it. And so it's a sport that you can pick up at any age. It's a sport that provides socialization. It builds community. At any given morning, on any given weekday, you can come to this court or a number of other courts across the county and meet people with open play. And I think it's awesome. So anyway, I'll shut up. I know all of you over here came to play and not to listen to me pontificate, but I just want to say I'm super, super excited. I'm super excited to see about this facility. I'm super excited to see what the next steps are to make sure that Montgomery County and Maryland are the capital of pickleball across the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Whoops, I'll get those later. So I just celebrated my 60th birthday this August, and I noticed when Casey talked about the older population, he glanced over my way, and I'm not sure I know how I feel about that at this point. But, my wife and I did play a game a few weeks ago with another beginner couple. It's a fun sport. I can attest to that. It's fairly easy to learn. It's a great workout. So I just want to thank all our elected officials for your support of the parks. We can't do things like this without funding, without public support, so I need to thank you all. And in my opening remarks, I was very remiss in not recognizing one VIP that's with us today, Rob Campbell, who's the ambassador for Montgomery and Prince George's County for the U.S. Pickleball Association. Rob reached out to me early on to educate me about the sport, to get me out on sites, to give me a lesson, to talk to me about the demand, and we're doing our best to deliver. But if you're a pickleball player and you're here today, I think you owe a lot of appreciation to Rob, because it's very important that the government is hearing from people and what their needs are and what they want, and when they're legitimate, we absolutely will do our best to deliver. So with that, let me bring Rob up to say a few words. Hope you didn't think I forgot you.
No, it's totally fine. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Riley, distinguished guests, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I am the district ambassador for Montgomery and PG County, so I wanted to take an opportunity to personally thank all of you for the efforts that you put forth to pickleball, and I'd like to specifically say thank you to Chuck Kynes. He has been a huge advocate for us in pickleball, and I think probably within the last 6 months, the growth of pickleball in Montgomery County has somewhat exploded, and this facility is a good representation of that. I just want to take a quick moment and introduce a couple of the ambassadors that are in Montgomery County. So when I call your name, just wave so everyone knows who you are. So Scott Keenum is one of our Montgomery County ambassadors. Mr. Art Shank, right there. Mr. Tom Corbett. And then Emer Daly is over there. So there's 3 other ambassadors that couldn't be here today, but we look forward to the opportunity to teach those of you who have not played or had an opportunity to learn the game of pickleball during the rest of the time we have for this event. And for those of you, typically we try not to play in such high winds, but as they say in Colorado, you need to embrace the wind. So unfortunately, we have to deal with it today. So your next experience might be a little better than today. So if you hit a lot of balls out, that's totally fine. But we look forward to the opportunity, and thank you, Mr. Riley, for the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you very much, Rob, and thank you for being an advocate for your sport. So I think it's time to cut the ribbon. So I'm going to invite our elected officials and Rob up to the ribbon as soon as we stretch it out.